Hey everyone, and welcome back. In the last video, we looked at the intimidating pen tool, and I showed you how easy it is to create your own custom shapes, either with sharp edges or curved edges, and hopefully you'll be taking those techniques and creating shapes of your own. But the question is, once you've created your shapes, how do you go ahead and save them for future use? I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that in this video. Photoshop has a tool called the Custom Shapes tool, which you can find in your tools bar with the other shape tools. Go down to the bottom and you have your Custom Shapes tool. Now up on the options bar, you have some shapes that are loaded with Photoshop. By default, you may only see a few of them, but if you click on the gear icon to the right, you can go down and select all the shapes. And when you press OK, you're given this whole long list of shapes that you can use in your projects. So let me scroll up just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and select this chat bubble right here, and with my shift key held down to constrain the proportions, I'm going to drag it out just like this. And I can also hold down my space bar to move it around before I actually create the shape. So I'm going to leave it right about there. And again, as discussed in the last video, if you want to hide or show the path that goes around the shape, Command or Control, Shift and H. So now that it's in place, let's go ahead and make some modifications. And in specific, we're going to be adding another tail to this bubble, and we're going to do that using the pen tool, which you saw in the last video. Now I do want to make sure at the top that shape is selected, and then under this drop down here, I want to choose combine shapes. And now anything we draw on this layer will be added to the current shape that we have selected. So I'm going to go right down here, click once, and then click and drag down here to create a curve. Now I'm going to go up here, click and drag, and then complete the curve just like this. Now this part won't be showing, so I'm not too worried about that. Now I am taking a look down here, there's a little bit of a curve here, so we want to adjust that. And like mentioned in the last video, we can use the direct selection tool. So I'm going to click on the path here, and you'll notice that this curve is flailing out over here, so we can grab this and drag it inwards to make that curve a lot sharper. And again, Command or Control, Shift and H to hide the path so we can see it a little bit better. And now assuming you want to take this new tail and duplicate it, you can use your Path Selection tool. So I'm going to click on that shape that we just created, hold down the Alt or Option key, Option on the Mac, Alt on Windows, and simply drag it over to the right. And once we place it, we now have a duplicated tail. Command or Control, Shift and H to hide it. So now that our shape is complete, how do we save it for future use? Well, under the Edit menu, you'll see down at the bottom, you have a Define Custom Shape option, but right now it's grayed out, and that's because we hid the path. The path has to be showing. So one more time, Command or Control, Shift and H to reveal that path, and you don't want any subpaths selected. So you want to click off of the shape to make sure that the whole shape is selected. And once that's done, under the Edit menu, you have Define Custom Shape, where you can go ahead and give it a name. And when you press OK, Photoshop is going to save that shape into the Custom Shapes tool. So we can go over here to the left where we were before, into the Custom Shapes tool. And then under this drop-down menu in the shape picker, all the way at the bottom, you have your new custom shape, which you can drag out as big or as small as you want, just like that. And it's always going to be there for you. So by using the pen tool and the shapes that are provided with Photoshop, you can create all these cool custom shapes and you can save them for future use in any of your projects. That's another huge advantage of working with vector shapes in Photoshop. We'll see you in the next video.